Hello, everybody!
What's up, guys?
We're back with another review. We shot this one in the car, but the camera kind of overheated and stopped recording.
And God looked down at the two idiots in the vehicle and said, "Nay, nay, so you speak ill of Guy Ritchie and that other guy who was King Arthur. I chose him to lead England. You should stop it."
We saw King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
This movie was adequate at best. I have nothing better or nothing worse to say about this movie, honestly.
This movie had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of good and a lot of bad. And it turned out just kind of okay. Some of the best things about this movie were definitely the visuals. As far as, like, seeing...
For the most part, when Guy Ritchie's behind the camera doing all the physical work, like he does with Sherlock Holmes, Game of Shadows, I think was the second one?
Yeah.
The scenes where they get really tight close-up on them while they're moving and fighting and doing stuff.
Yeah.
All of that still looks really good. There's a lot of really great dialogue that you can tell he was writing and trying to make, and...
I'm glad I finally got to see, like, a legendary magic sword be a legendary magic sword.
You were saying that. The sword actually plays a very, very big role in this and does a lot of really cool shit.
As it does in, like, Arthurian legend, it's just... It's never... I don't think any movie I've seen with magic weapons has been fantastically great.
I don't know.
Except... Huh?
Mjolnir.
Yeah, Mjolnir in the Avengers movie. Also, the bow in Immortals. Immortals is a shit movie, but the bow is really cool.
Never saw it.
It's...
Or maybe I did and I just don't remember it.
Had
I have watched a lot of shitty movies in my life.
Had Henry Cavill in it. He was the main star. And Mickey Rourke.
I may have seen that. I don't remember.
But that's beside the point.
Yeah,
those are like some of the very few movies where magic weapons do what magic weapons are supposed to do.
Right. Or at least what you would think they would be doing.
Yeah, you get them very few and far between.
No, you enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed a lot of the writing and the camaraderie and acting between the people. Everybody was fine for their roles. They got a slam-bang cast.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that the weakest link of all of them happened to be the main star. I have nothing against
Charlie Hunnam.
Charlie Hunnam. I was keep wanting to say Huntingham. But no, I have nothing against Charlie Hunnam. I think he's perfectly acceptable. But he is not leading man material, at least not for something like this. He needs people he can play off of.
Yeah,
which they have in like one or two scenes, like early on. Sorry to cut you off there, but they have him in one or two scenes where it's just him and his like two friends as he was growing up, and they would play off each other, talking shit to the king's right hand man or whatever that would come looking, and those scenes worked great, but it was when he had to step up and just be the only guy on screen with the dialogue, it kind of fell apart.
Yeah, well, he's mostly a TV actor. Like, he's done movies, but he's never been, like, had to do a solo movie, like, where it was that much alone time by himself. Well, he did good in Pacific Rim, but he had an amazing cast to play off.
Exactly. But I will say something else. He's very good at portraying his emotions.
Yes.
And that's something I have to give to, like, Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker was one of the worst written characters I've ever seen in my life.
But you could see the hate on his face.
He portrayed hatred, joy, sadness. Visually, not a lot of actors can portray that, guys. I mean, look at most of your main cast nowadays. Seasoned veterans are, like, one of the few and far between people who, when they emote, you feel like they're actually experiencing these emotions. And both of these people do a fantastic job convincing me that they are in pain, they're in mourning.
I think that's because Charlie Hunnam, like, spent 6 years on a TV show where he had, like, that was a very emotional-driven TV show.
Right.
So that's where he got most of that from. Sons of Anarchy taught him to do that.
Well, he did a good job there, but again,
transitioned him well into movies. It's just
more or less, but again, he's just not this particular kind of leading man material.
Well, he's even like strayed away from like major roles because he knows that as well. Like
that's good. That'll serve him well. He
was supposed to be the 50 Shades of Grey guy. He was supposed to be him.
I think he just dodged a bullet with that one, no matter who got cast.
Yeah, he definitely dodged a bullet, but he said he didn't want it. There were two things. Some said it was a big scheduling conflict. A lot of people came out and said eventually, though, that he said he didn't want that sort of fame, like that was going to be attached with that movie, and he was...
well, he wasn't entirely wrong, but he wasn't entirely right either. But... yeah, Charlie Hunnam and the really awful CG they had in this movie are really the only two things that keep this from being a worthwhile movie. That and the fact that there is an R-rated cut of this.
Yeah.
Because there are some fight scenes in this that are just so bloodless and awful. But they're stabbings and they're arrow shootings, and it's like...
there needs to be blood.
There needs to be something here. There's throats being slit and shit.
Yeah, they got their one F-bomb in, and this is a movie I would just...
I really wish they... I was happy they gave it to Jude Law, because if you're going to have somebody say fuck in a movie, it needs to be Jude Law.
Yeah.
But they gave it to him at exactly the wrong time. This is the same problem they had in Kong.
Yeah.
They gave it to the wrong guy. They had one fuck they could drop, and then it's like...
you don't give the fuck to Samuel L. Jackson. Come on.
You give that man that F-bomb, he will do it. But, yeah, they dropped it at the wrong time. I just feel it was there to bump it into PG-13. Otherwise, with all the lack of blood, it would have just been a PG movie, and it wouldn't have drawn as many people. Because there's not a lot of vulgarity outside of that. I mean, I think I heard, like, 2 dams, and that's, like, it.
There wasn't a lot of cussing.
There was decidedly not, but they have that one fuck in there, and it's like, we've officially said that more than they ever even thought.
Yeah.
But parts like that really feel, just reek of studio interference. And it's strange because Guy Ritchie can turn in an awesome movie if you let him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just look at his filmography, and like the lowest point on his movie list is like the one that he made with Madonna. It's not a very worthwhile movie. You can look it up. Jared will put a little thing down there and show you what I'm talking about.
I don't think they want to know.
Probably not, but do it anyway for posterity's sake, because we are professionals.
Okay.
And professionals follow through on their work, goddammit. We're not fake news. You want to have the president come up and say, Ninja Mafia Entertainment is such fake news. Charlie Hunnam was amazing. Sad. Triple exclamation points. Frowny face.
Oh, dude. I just thought of this because you did your Donald Trump thing.
What's that?
Somebody, our phrase caught on. There's a group on Facebook called Make Power Rangers Great Again.
God damn it. That's the thing. Now I wish this were fucking Long Island Iced Tea.
I forgot to tell you that.
God damn it. Did they at least say VR Troopers was going to pay for it? That's the second part of that.
No.
Never going to get my dues. But back to King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. I really don't have anything really to say about this. Jude Law was the best thing about this movie. Everybody else is weirdly downplayed.
I thought it was weird that they had the actress who played Jude Law's wife in this is very known in the King Arthur fan community.
You were telling me this before we got there.
She played Morgan Le Fay on Merlin.
Well, given the brevity that she's in there, I'm sure that was probably just a send up homage to her being part of this widely respected portion.
Yeah,
and say, look, we can't have her. Yeah, we can't have her be in this movie, but this is somebody who's well attached to it, and she plays a pivotal role in figuring out what the hell's going on. The biggest problem is this: I know this exists because it has to exist because there's too much of it there to not exist.
I want to see it.
There is an R-rated cut of this movie that's about 10 to 15 minutes shorter, and it's basically just like minute and a half, minute, 30 seconds removed, just in various segments of the movie. That once you shorten it down just that small amount, would probably be a way better movie because it drags really bad. Especially in the middle, right after he grows up, and you
he didn't even need that
routine.
whole dark world thing. Like if they had just transported him to that altar instead of make him like go through the caves and fight the giant monsters, there's 5 minutes right there.
Well, you could have sliced that down a little bit. I don't think it really needed to be
cut out the giant rats or something.
No, you keep the ROUSs because that's an homage to Princess Bride. Which, speaking of. Buttercup fought ROUSs better than he did in this movie. And if you could just segment her little fight scene with a rodent of unusual size in there, that should tell you something, guys. But the CG was appalling in this movie. There's one creature that looks decent, and it's a snake, and it's a small snake at that.
All the others, it's like...
All the others, it's horribly obvious.
Even the fighting, it's like, you need to calm down,
well,
guys.
It's not Star Wars Episode 3 bad, but it is bad. It's far and away from good, I'll say that.
At least they only cut the final fight. It was over fairly quickly instead of like 40 minutes.
Exactly, and it's like maybe 5 minutes, but it's a 5 minutes that you get a decent amount of energy and impact to it, and it feels like they're actually trading blows during it, for the most part, for CG characters that you pretty much know are CG.
Yeah. The coolest thing I thought with this movie, though, I thought it was really fucking cool how Uther was the stone.
That was a neat little addition. So it turns out that Uther is slain by his brother, and he tries to take over the kingdom, and he throws the sword up in the air, kneels down defeated, and it just plunges into his back, like just at the base of the spine, and it plunges into him, and he turns to stone and then sinks to the bottom of the lake. Which has the implication that Arthur had to pull out of his dad to become king.
It was still really cool.
It was an interesting twist. I'll give you that. It was a good visual, and
that was good CG in that.
That was really good CG. For the life of me, I can't think of the guy who played Uther.
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana, thank you. All the while, I kept looking at him, going like, "Is that Eric Bana?" That is Eric Bana. And then I'd forget and be like, "All right, Eric Bana was here." And then he would come back and he's like, "Why do I keep forgetting Eric Bana was in this movie?"
Dude, they could have gone to that scene like 2 or 3 times less, too. They went back to that one scene like 10 times. And it was like, you're overplaying a little bunch, guys.
Honestly, it could have chopped out a lot of that had his dream sequences where it flashes between him and the dark fighter killing his dad just be like 1 or 2 small snippets where he sees the...
I mean, you did have to eventually give it
Dark
to us
Souls-esque person.
where you saw that it was his uncle. But...
Right. But yeah, it needed... I would probably... It totals out at about 2 hours long, nearly. Just over.
And it didn't need to be that long.
No, that's the biggest problem about it, honestly. It feels that 2 hours long. And it needed that... I would probably say about 10 to 15 minutes stripped out of it.
Yeah, a lot of people at the theater were like, "Man, I heard the movie was really long. It's like 3 hours." And I'm like, "Well, it's not.
It's not, but it kind of
like
it feels long." And like I say, the movie hurt me. No, that's the biggest problem. Is the movie feels longer than it is, and anytime you have that, you have a problem. Yeah. And from just based on his previous movies, I know Guy Ritchie can make a movie not feel as long as it is, but
I think this was definitely studio edited.
It really feels like it because you have a lot of problems with trying to make Jude Law seem like a sympathetic villain, but you're never given a whole lot of backstory as to why he's doing that.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's all in like the unrated cut that's lying
I'm
around
sure there
somewhere.
is.
For now, I'd say this is a solid rent it when it's on DVD, unless you get like a unrated cut, then go buy that.
That's about the only way I would recommend it, is just wait till it's on Netflix or at your local video store.
Or if they do release an unrated cut with all the extra stuff added in, then yeah, it's a definite buy.
Yeah. Outside of that, this movie was adequate at best, and that's, like I say, that's the best and worst thing I can say about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us, man.
I guess so.
All right.
Well, that and the timing that it came out, because you had mentioned this earlier, that it came out 2
Between
weeks after
two-
Guardians and 2 weeks before Wonder Woman. So it's in this really awful state where everybody's saving up for one side or the other.
Yeah. It did come out because the only other movie you have coming out before Wonder Woman is Baywatch, and it's gonna be like a meh movie.
I don't know.
I'm
I have
hoping
hope
it's
for
good.
Baywatch.
I'm hoping it's good with the star power that's in it, but I'm not holding my breath. I know it's just going to be like a fun little poke at comedy, like, oh, haha, Baywatch, I remember that show. Yeah, it's fun.
If they take it tongue in cheek, then it'll be fine. If they just don't be chips.
There's too much star power for that to be chips. Like, this movie immediately has more star power than chips.
I know.
It'll be
Are you
okay.
saying that The Rock is more personable and likable than Dax Shepard?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't even have to think about that, did you?
I'm saying both the girls in it are like the.
Why
three-
do you hate Dax Shepard so much, Jared?
I don't. You do though. You
I really-
hate that man so much.
I don't hate him. He's done all right. I'm disappointed.
Without a paddle.
That was not a good movie.
Chips the movie.
That was not a good movie. You know what was a good movie?
What?
Let's Go to Prison.
Which one is that?
That's the... Have you never seen that?
I think I have, but
Oh, we gotta watch that then.
no. Which one is it? I think I've seen it.
I'll tell you later.
All right,
afterwards.
guys. Well, until next time.
We're gonna watch Let's Go to Prison and maybe something else.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Later.